Shabbat Shalom, brothers and sisters. Shabbat Shalom. Come on in. Come on in. Shabbat Shalom. Yes, we're the elders of the Gathering of Christ Church here with our weekly Sabbath lesson. Shalom to our brothers and sisters from the four corners of the earth. And let's start this off with the Lord's Prayer.
Our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts, as we forgive our debtors. Lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory, forever. Amen. Abba Noah, Shabbat Shemaya, Kodash Haya Shemcha Ahaya, Malakwavka Taba'a, Ratazawanka Haya Asha, Ba'arataza Kawa, Haya Hashemaya, the thunder Noah, Lakam Kau Yawam, Wasalak Noah, Kawak Waf Noah, Hasalak Noah, Kawak Waf Yanawa Wala'a, Kabayak Noah, Anasaya Wan Abal, Awashai Noah, Manrai Kayalata, Kamalakwa Waha Allah, Ahapapa Arak, La Iwalamya, Man.
That's the Lord's Prayer. The Most High Ahaya Bashim Yeshaya will rewalk. We thank him for another opportunity to come before you on this Sabbath. And boy, do we have a discussion that we're going to do today to break down the ideology behind the whore of Babylon. We're going to talk about it, how that transferred geopolitically throughout the earth and how it has affected our people real time, brothers and sisters, because we don't understand the spiritual warfare and how it's waged against us. Most of us fall victim. And by fallen victim, I mean, we're talking about the blood of the saints. How they have strategically constructed and social engineered a world in which they could get rid of us without us actually understanding that it's intentional. And we're going to talk about that, the spirit of the harlot today. We're going to go into it. Hit that like button. Please hit that like button, brothers and sisters. Hit the like button. Okay. Hit the like button. I'm going to give y'all a couple more seconds. We need a few more people in before the lesson begins. So hit that like button for us. That drives the algorithm. Okay, a few more people in and then we'll begin. Okay. A few more people, then we'll begin. All right. Hit that like button. Almost. We're almost there. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. All right. Elder Lawyer, if you will, let's do the Shema.
Shema Yasha'Allah Ahaya Allahayanawa Ahaya Achad.
Shema Yasha'Allah Ahaya Allahayanawa Ahaya Achad.
Hear, O Israel, the Lord our God is one Lord.
Hear, O Israel, the Lord our God is one God. The God above all gods. Ahaya is his name. Now, let's go in. Now, before I jump in, let me just give you all some insight. I'm excited. We are excited about the brand new platform. We'll be streaming the Hebrew and Bible Academy. A brand new platform, folks, all encompassed, where you go there to see your videos. You see us live in the chat and be able to correspond with fellow academites within the community. A whole community app in one place. You can use it with your computer, tablet, phone. It doesn't matter. Everything is there. No more waiting for your email and all these others. Everything is within your profile. Okay? No more when you log in and then you have to purchase and then wait for an email and all these others. No, it's one place. Okay? It will be a Gathering of Christ Church, not a Gathering of Christ Church, but a Hebrew and Bible Academy app. That's all in one place. And it's also a community correspondence where if you are a member, yes, if you are a part of the academy, all that month you can correspond on the community room we have along with it. So now, and it's no waiting for your videos 24 hours and all of that. If you were in the academy, you can see any of the lessons within that 12 weeks during the whole time. Okay? So you don't want to miss the Nest Academy. And this is why I'm going into this lesson to give you some insight of where we're going. Because most people cannot, and I'm talking about churchgoers, they cannot understand how their religious beliefs transfers real time, real life into our world. They have no idea, no understanding. They go to church, right? You go to church, and whatever doctrine that church is teaching, it's really a rehab center, if you want to know about it. Okay, it's something where, based on the ills of our community, we go there to get some level of spiritual rehabilitation. That's what our churches has become. Not to say that's wrong in of itself. But usually, if you're dealing with the Bible of God, shouldn't we get in front of all the issues that we seek to repent from and to rehabilitate ourselves from afterwards? So our churches have become a spiritual rehabilitation center after we've already been damaged by the harlot. Right? So we're supposed to get in front of this. So I love lessons like this because we're going to show you how the belief systems or the doctrine in our communities are intertwined. Whatever we are experiencing in our communities is a direct result of our what? Spiritual leadership. That it's intentional. That it's intentional. Everything that we complain about, we can go down the gambit. Everything we complain about. Why men and women can't get along. Why the children are all out of order. Why there's low education. Why there's sin and criminality festering within ourselves, even though that's not all, but it's too much. Anytime we witness things like this within a community wholesale, not just in one state, but all around the world, we can't help but understand that this is intentional. But our people can identify the spirit behind it. Right? We can identify it. So today we're going to talk about it. Drunken with the blood of the saints. How there is an actual, believe it or not, folks, religious intent to destroy God's people that transfer politically within our communities. We're going to talk about it today. But before I go there, let me talk about the next academy. We're going to break down Babylon like you've never seen before. The spiritual aspect, the political aspect, so to understand how to separate when it's time. What do I mean? Separate when it's time. Babylon is everywhere. There's no way to escape the community of Babylon. Babylon encompasses the earth. But how do we be in the world, but not of the world? How do we operate understanding the construct we've been trapped and imprisoned in? Now think about this, folks. How do we escape? The Most High, he gave us a path. He allowed the world to become what it is, so that there would be only one path to escape. Geography, guess what? What I found, even going all around the world, you cannot escape Babylon geographically. The same concerns and the same issues that we'll find here, it's everywhere. So in the academy, we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about geopolitically what's going on with the mark of the beast and how that coincides with the spirit of who? The harlot. Now, why are we concentrating on the harlot? Because there's many things that's ignored that should not have been ignored while growing up in churches. No one tells us that there's a secret spirit in the earth seeking to destroy a particular people. All things are relative in the church. Okay, not to say it was all bad, but it's all about traditions, upholding traditions, upholding generational traditions of a community. Okay, upholding some level of morality, but without understanding the world around us. See? Which I believe is a very dangerous place to be. To believe in the Bible and not understand the world, not understand how the world affects us personally. Well, that's what this academy is going to do. We're bringing it in full circle to let you know that guess what? The governments of this earth is one big religion. It doesn't matter about the language. It doesn't matter about the culture. It doesn't matter about the nation divides. They're all controlled by a unified force. A force that, guess what? We're going to identify to some degree today. And we're going to show you the perpetrators behind it today. But again, tracing the war between truth and deception from Eden to the book of Revelation, the beginning of the war, the rise of the rebellion before the flood, the politics before the flood, how Satan was able to gain control or use control over man. I really appreciate all of what y'all doing to support the work. We really appreciate you. We love you. One language, one rebellion. The birth of the mystery religion. Egypt, Canaan, corrupted worship. Israel's greatest battle. The kingdoms of hypocrisy. Daniel's visions and the rise of the world empire. The woman and the beast, the mother of harlots. I'm touching on that today, a little of it. The mark of allegiance. Come out of her, and the final victory where what? This system, this Babylonian system, when it's eventually destroyed. That and more. And keep in mind, like I said, I'm excited about the new platform. Brothers and sisters, we're making this as simple and convenient as it can be for you all. Everything is all encompassed. You go in, you're going to have the app and everything. You sign up on the website, and that's it. Everything comes to you. So it doesn't matter if you have a cell phone, whatever the case is. I started thinking about some of our seniors who've been coming in for years, who aren't that computer savvy. The fact that we had to have one of our main tech people reach out just to direct them to a point where Elder Lawyer and I or Shapat is before them because they don't know about computers. Well, guess what? All of your questions, all of your concerns about the academy has been resolved, which means we were listening. So now all mama got to do, if you're a senior, that's fine. Go to your app, you tap that app, sign in under your name, and guess what? We're here before you. Everything is in drops that you can actually bullet points where you can go to each part, and the whole community of the Gathering of Christ Church for the Academy is at your fingertips. Okay? So we made it. We heard your concerns. Your concerns have been addressed. And guess what? It's going to be absolutely amazing where we're going with this academy. Okay? Now, everyone knows, especially been in the academy a long time, the creation of the universe. So we condensed that, right? So that we can bring a higher understanding within that first week lesson. And it's not just the creation, but it's going right in to Mystery Babylon. Okay? And again, we did one particular creation video, not this academy, but the prior academy, that I'm going to hold on to that one because I believe more insight came out of that particular creation lesson than all the ones we've taught, and we've taught at every academy. So we're going to save that one for the archives and sometimes utilize that to give it to people, down the line when it comes to some of our lessons. We're going to archive real time with real-time DVDs and things of that nature and archive it for our library so that once this computer stuff is done, okay, there'll be what? There'll be some evidence we existed real time that someone can pop in and say, guess what? The truth was here. So they're moving everyone into the digital age so that this whole generation, as far as history, could be erased. So we're going to take all of our important videos, the Most High that have been inspired by the Almighty, and put it on DVDs and put it in a library just for what? Archiving reasons and purposes. Now, down the line, whether or not, and I was speaking to AC about this, down the line, because the computers will go down, if brothers and sisters would like to have access to it, of course, we'll make that optional down the line. But I want to be able to archive these for myself and for our library and for the members of the church and put in our library and label them with dates and all of that. Because I'm going to tell you, folks, sometimes I go back to old videos and look and listen to it. And I'm like, man, it's not that I forgot it, but that was deep what the Most High inspired us to say at that particular time. It's like I'm looking at a teacher that's separate based on the information that's coming. Like, man, we said that. The Most High had us pull that out. So we have to learn again continually. And I don't want to lose the essence of what that was. So the Most High put a spirit on me and say, you know what? You better begin to put this stuff together and archive it. Out of nowhere, I wake up in the morning and YouTube say, well, you don't have a strike, but we just deleted your video from this date for no reason. Obviously, that video, something in it, the world powers don't want us to understand or go back and review based on, it may be something, folks, that we said that's about to happen prophetically. And they will go and find that us talking about it 5 years ago, 6 years ago, and all of a sudden they'll do us a favor. We're not going to strike you, but based on the current guidelines, we took it down for you. That's a disrespect to what? All the work that was put in to convey serious information through the Bible to our people. And I'm like, you know what? This is their platform. They have the power to do what they want to do, but that's a sign that one day, if they can take one video down, they can stop all the videos altogether, and our people are left with nothing. We don't have no reference point to go by and say at this date, brothers and sisters, the world, the Most High inspired us to tell you this, and it was on this date. All of that they're seeking to erase. But no, we're up on it. I'm going to archive this stuff, and it can be hundreds and hundreds of DVDs. I don't care. Dates and everything. Every video we do, I'm going to have it taken down, downloaded, archived hard copy, and put away in storage. Okay? So we're going to do that. So again, if you want to be a part of the Academy again, go to historytimes.org to enroll. That's what? That's historytimes.org to enroll. All right. GOCC, Lucifer ruling from the stars. Exactly. That, brothers and sisters, that's one of those videos. Lucifer ruling from the stars. Even till this day, it's one of the most watched videos outside of From Babylon, Rome to America and the Name of the Most High, and especially the 12 Lost Tribes Found. Right? Go to historytimes.org to enroll. And brothers and sisters, we will see you in South Carolina for the baptism this coming what? This coming next week. Friday and Saturday. Thursday, I'll be going to the plantation places and getting footage going into the history of slavery when the children of Israel, the tribe of Judah in particular, was brought to the shores of America. Okay? And then from those same waters, showing the Most High delivering his people through baptism, that gives us another opportunity, what? Towards the covenant. Showing that everything Christ said he would do for us has come around full circle. From slavery to liberty. We're going to do a full documentary. But guess what? Hey, what's more important is what we announced that the Most High inspired us to say that we were going to do first. And that was what? The baptism. We thought that it was going to be just a few people, folks. It's going to be so many people. All praises be to the Most High. That's going to the water at one time. Israelites and Gentiles alike coming to the water. Okay? For the remission of sins and to join this final battle against evil. And folks, I'm so proud. I'm happy that we can all be in this together to the very end. And believe it or not, folks, victory. We're going to win. And when the Most High says the weapons of our warfare aren't carnal, look at all the people come into the water through the Spirit that are joining Christ's body at the very end of Babylon. So I'm excited about that. And next week we'll see you there. Thank you, We'll See. I really appreciate your support. Blessings and blessings. All of you. We support you. We love you. Keep your prayers out there for us. And we'll see you next week in South Carolina. Okay? We'll be in the Orangeburg area for the baptism. So, all praises be to the Most High. Elder Lawyer, let's jump right in. Let's go into the lesson, if you will. Let's go right into it. Drunken with the blood of the saints. What do we mean by that? There's a spirit that we've been continually attacked by, that have infiltrated the Christian church. And it has always been there. It has always been there. Lying dormant. Lying dormant. And it's not what you think. When we talk about the spirit of the woman and what's going on in relationships right now, folks, let me tell you, it's not what people think. Like when we hear about woman empowerment, the feminist movement and all of that, that's just scratching the surface. What if that spirit have been there for generations without us actually recognizing it? Because it's truly not a threat, as far as we can see, as strong, heterosexual, Bible-believing men. I need y'all to think about that. Usually, if you're standing on the Most High and you are a man, you could care less about the threat, really, in your mind, of a woman. But what if the woman isn't just what we deal with in our time and space when it comes to the third dimension? Suppose there's another woman affecting the women and the men to fulfill a prophecy of Rome one day destroying God's people. I'm going to tell you, they don't like, guess what? They love it when they see men and women fighting against one another, because we're not recognizing or taking heed to a spirit that resides amongst us. The spirit of the harlot. Yesterday, I touched on it, but I really didn't want to go into it fully during our update yesterday. I didn't want to go into it because it would take too long to break down, and I didn't want to leave it out there fragmented, where they're like, Elder brought something out, but I still need some understanding on it. So I said, you know what? I'm going to take some time today to dive into this. So to segue us into what brothers and sisters can look forward to within the next academy. Right? So before we do this, we have to go back to Genesis. We got to go back to Genesis to identify our big brother, Esau, and to show what he was known for, right? Now, Esau is a man. Edom, that's right, the son of Isaac, right? So if I'm going to break down the harlot, if I'm going to break down this mystery today to show you, right, I have to go back to its architect, the mind behind this, so that the attack to destroy the saints would be utilized through what? A weaker vessel, as so that God's people at the very end would not be able to understand who's truly attacking us. Right? And also to show you that there's a religion behind it. Right? Let's go there. Elder Lawyer, let's go here. Let's go to where Esau is called the cunning hunter. Let's go to Genesis. Right here. Genesis 21, and let's go straight down. 25 and 21. Yeah, 25 and 21. Let's read that real quick.
Yes, sir. The book of Genesis 25, verse 21.
Read.
And Isaac entreated the Lord for his wife, because she was barren. And the Lord was entreated of him, and Rebekah his wife conceived. And the children struggled together within her. And she said, If it be so, why am I thus? And she went to inquire of the Lord.
She went to inquire of the Lord. Read.
And the Lord said unto her, 2 nations are in thy womb, and 2 manner of people shall be separated from thy bowels, and the one people shall be stronger than the other people, and the elder shall serve the younger.
The elder shall serve the younger. Right? Read.
24. And when her days to be delivered were fulfilled, behold, there were twins in her womb.
There were twins in her womb. Read.
And the first came out red all over, like an hairy garment, and they called his name Esau.
And he came out red all over. There's no such thing as white people. Okay? There's no such thing as white people. Esau came out red all over like a hairy garment. Read.
And they called his name Esau.
And they called his name Esau. Now let's check out the attributes of Esau. Right? Read on.
And after that came his brother out, and his hand took hold on Esau's heel, and his name was called Jacob. And Isaac was 80 years old when she bare them.
A score is 20, so Isaac was 60 years old when he had the twins. Now Esau is the firstborn that was what? Meant to be what? A servant to Jacob. Right? Read 27.
And the boys grew, and Esau was a cunning hunter.
Esau was a cunning hunter. Now, just remember his attribute. He's a cunning hunter. So usually, a matter of fact, let me get this here. So you all can see it right there. 1 second. Right there. That's good. Yeah. And Esau was a what, Elder Lawyer?
A cunning hunter.
A cunning hunter. Read.
A man of the field.
A man of the field. Read.
And Jacob was a plain man, dwelling in tents.
And Jacob was a plain man, dwelling in tents. So keep in mind, one of the key attributes of Esau is to be what? A cunning hunter. Well, a cunning hunter can camouflage. A cunning hunter can identify as anything with the sheer intent. He can dress up in camouflage and he can do whatever he wants to do what? To eventually destroy the prey. But guess what attribute that he has? More so than anything, the power of illusion, psychology. So if he's hunting people, how can he destroy people without getting recognized? If a man attempts to oppose himself physically against another man, automatically men will rally together and go to war and do what? Take out the threat. But suppose Esau hunts in the spirit of a woman. Suppose he's hunting in a spirit that can destroy the man indirectly by him hunting through the spirit of woman. Same effect. The only thing is, Esau, the heterosexual man or the man of himself, he leaves unscathed without the threat of a man opposing him. And suppose that's intertwined within the ideology or the beliefs Esau sets up. The cunning hunter You got something, other lawyer?
No, sir.
Okay. A whole nother angle. When you think about this transgenderism and all these others, no one ever thought that, hold up. These are spiritual tactics to destroy one target. The man. The black man in particular. Okay, all you have to show me is what the threat is. And if we focus enough, we can exterminate the threat. But suppose Esau was able to do it a different way and say, listen, I can pick you off, my brother Jacob, without lifting a finger. I can pick you off because you're not looking for a woman to destroy you. You're looking for me. See, and that's why Esau don't care about when people talk about the patriarchy and all these others. These are all talking points that are used throughout psychology and all that. That's why they don't care when people talk about the white patriarchy and all that, because no one has the power to take them down anyway. They know that if anyone aims any vitriol towards the patriarchy, it lands on the world hating the black man. Okay. But again, not going off topic, the spirit that Esau would utilize is the spirit of the hunter. Now, yesterday, I highlighted an old deity, a goddess. The goddess of the hunt. Diana. And guess what, folks? I know that a lot of the Jesuits, the apologetics and all that who worships Mary and all of that. I have books on the Jesuits here. Let me get this real quick. Let me get that lightly. I don't want to mess this camera up. Here it is right here. They don't like when I pull this one out. Here's the book cover. It fell off the book, but here it is right here. I got it right over there. The Secret History of the Jesuits. Right? That's why, brothers and sisters, they don't like when I pull that book out, because it's not Mary that they hold in high regard. It's the spirit of an old goddess they utilize to destroy people. The Jesuits were the first CIA, folks. Before there was any such thing as CIA, it was the Jesuits of the Catholic Church. The Black Knights. They always secretly worship a Madonna in secret, and have deceived the world into believing it's Mary. But what they don't know, Mary was taken down, or the history of Mary, when our people lost Jerusalem and was replaced by a hunter. Diana, who became Mary after the fall of Jerusalem. The Romans took down Christ and Mary and replaced Mary with the goddess of hunt. Now, with her comes an ideology. With her comes an ideology. Her ideology is to have full control over fertility. Okay? What child lives, what child dies. A right to choose anyone? Oh, you didn't think that was a religious tenet. Right? And she's the hunter. She's there to protect the women from the patriarchy. And she's there, and guess what? She holds the power over chastity. Right? Goddess of the hunt. Esau the cunning hunter. Hit that like button, folks. Now, later on, they started putting her up as our people began to go into captivity and all that, during the Renaissance period, they started to switch her out to Mary and labeled her the Queen of Heaven as something innocent. But her ideology is poisonous. Her ideology is the hunter. Her ideology is the hunter. Now we're going to show you her objective, what she's there for. Okay, it's a spirit that possesses women without women knowing or understanding it. She has always been a deity for women empowerment. Right? Diana. Now, yesterday I went through this, but we're going to show you that the disciples was up against this spirit. We're going to show you the disciples were up against this spirit, folks. Women are powerful in of itself because they appear as weak when it comes to in comparison to a strong man. That's power because what? You underestimate a woman's intentions. Now, if a woman is in a spirit of virtue in God, then okay. She's a helpmeet to you. But when she's not in the function of a helpmeet, she becomes the direct opposite. She becomes the hunter. Now, suppose Satan could what? Set up a system that can hyper signal this throughout the whole earth, and it becomes the norm, aimed towards destroying one target. Elder Lawyer, you know where I'm going here. Let's go to the book of Jeremiah real quick, and let's talk about her real quick. Jeremiah. And guess what? Whoever holds to the ideology or the doctrine of Christ being born without his father, that in of itself is a part of the spell. Think about this, folks. That's total emasculation. And the ideology within itself is total emasculation. Okay? You have to think about that. Christ is God. Well, if Christ is God and she's the mother of God, who holds the true authority? Think about that. So they was able to instill that spirit of woman empowerment within the Christian doctrine that usurps the authority over a man. That whole ideology, folks, it was well thought out. Yes, Mary was a virgin. She was a woman of marriageable age according to scripture. But that doesn't mean that what? That Joseph wasn't the father. That whole ideology is emasculation. Christ is God. They teach you that in theologian school. Well, she's the mother of God. So who's on top? Total emasculation. So let's go into the spirit of this woman before the Greeks renamed her Diana. Let's go here to Isaiah 44 and 15.
Yes, sir. Jeremiah 44 and 15. Then all the men which knew that their wives had burned incense unto other gods, and all the women that stood by, a great multitude, even all the people that dwelt in the land of Egypt, and Pathros, answered Jeremiah, saying.
Now, what was going on? All the women were united together, going out together without the men. Does that sound like our current community construct? Huh? I'm going to show you how it has come around full circle. Folks, there was no gatherings coming up when I was coming up where there was just women in numbers at a social setting, be it a cookout, be it going out. There was no such thing as a social setting where where it was predominantly women. And no one can recognize what has changed. That spirit have permeated and have actually taken front stage. It have taken front stage. Look at what it says here. Listen to this. Thank you, Maria. Read 16.
As for the word that thou hast spoken unto us in the name of the Lord, we will not hearken unto thee.
We will not hearken unto thee. Read.
But we will certainly do whatsoever thing goeth forth out of our own mouth, to burn incense unto the Queen of Heaven, and to pour out drink offerings unto her, as we have done.
Hold up, to do what?
To burn incense to the Queen of Heaven, and to pour out drink offerings unto her.
And to pour out drink offerings to the Queen of Heaven. We did this. The women did this in defiance of what? The God of Israel. In defiance of the laws to be obedient. And they were empowered. They were empowered by who? The Queen of Heaven. Semiramis is at that time, who's been renamed different female deities. Be it Venus, be it Diana. Right? This is a social setting, folks. In every setting, ceremonial, ritualistic. Read.
As we have done, and our fathers, our kings, and our princes in the cities of Judah, and in the streets of Jerusalem. For then had we plenty of victuals, and were well, and saw no evil. But since we left off to burn incense to the Queen of Heaven, and to pour out drink offerings unto her, we have wanted all things, and have been consumed by the sword, and by the famine.
And by the famine. Read.
And will be burned incense to the Queen of Heaven, and poured out drink offerings unto her. Did we make her cakes to worship her, and pour out drink offerings unto her, without our men?
Without our what?
Without our men?
Without our men. We're going to do it whether you care or not. And a matter of fact, if you want to be down with me, you're going to have to worship what I worship. You're going to have to deal with the ceremonies, and that's all set up that uphold me as Queen of Heaven before the world, to show everybody that what? That the curse, this is how they think, that the curse of Eve is broken. You're going to have to bow to me if you want to be down with me. That's what they're saying. So all of the holidays that's associated with the Queen, Christmas, Sunday worship, whether it be Easter, all of these is what? These are venerations. These are worships towards the female deity. Where a man must do what? He must worship the Queen. Automatically, that's what? That's right, folks. It's a usurping of the authority with total emasculation. That's really, think about it, folks, with what? A spiritual authority to back it. It's the church. See that? So now what they're doing is doctrinally correct, but really it's a spirit to destroy the spirit of the man. And it start off with what? A man having to acquiesce to this spirit based on her ceremonies, based on her rituals, based on what? Her choice to be recognized as the queen. A queen without a king. It's an ideology. Now, the reason why Satan loved such a dynamic, why Satan wanted this construct in place, because it's the only construct that Satan could utilize where his threat is neutralized. His threat would be neutralized. What threat? Man was born, was created out of the dust of the earth, then born to one day judge Satan. A man would come in the earth. Eventually, they tried to kill at birth, who would walk and bring a mission that would bring all of the men together at the very end to defy the hunter. So they had to systematically set up this religion all over the earth, woman empowerment. But what we didn't know, that it was right up under our noses. It was the spirit we were learning in the Christian church without realizing it. Now, some people might say, well, hold up. There's strong men who stood in the church standing for what's right. Yeah, that's correct. You're absolutely correct. But you don't understand how the hunter works. The man with all his authority was still teaching the ideology of the woman. So she was using the male authority to signal her ideology to the congregation. A cunning hunter. See? You can have a strong man and all that. We all pastors and we all sitting here, all men. We putting women up under authority. And you're teaching the doctrine. You're teaching the doctrine of the Queen Mother of Heaven. You're teaching the doctrine of the goddess who hunt. So she's just using your male authority to do what? To convince each generation to give full credit and power to the spirit of woman. But not just any woman, folks. The harlot. Now, I'm going to show you this. Now, I'm going to show you how the disciples were operating when it came to the walk, the doctrine, how they was converting people who worship this woman. Because it's not just a tradition between four walls, folks, when you go to church or the temple of Bacchus at this time. Whatever they were learning there transferred into the Roman community. Hence the reason this is how Caesar was able to control and keep his population under control. Right? Through this same spirit. If you can convince the women to be on board with government, then they'll teach the traditions and all of that for generations to their children. And keep the men under obedience to Caesar. See? So this thing just doesn't apply to us. This ideology is a form of population control. And it worked back then. So they said, well, suppose we can get this same ideology and mindset in the church. It worked to control Roman citizens. It went from Ceramicus to Mithraism, and then after Rome, that's right, she became Diana. So let's see the disciples interacting with Diana real quick. Right? Elder Lawyer, if you will, let's go straight there. Interacting with the spirit of Diana. Acts 17, right? Acts, the 17th chapter. And you said you're going to start 16?
17, that's going to be Mars Hill.
Yeah, Mars Hill.
All right, you want that one?
Yeah.
All right.
Let's go to Mars Hills first.
Yes, sir. The book of Acts, chapter 17, verse number 16.
I'm gonna show you why inside my document that I have here.
Yes, sir.
To why. Okay, 17, verse.
Verse 16.
Verse 16, read.
Now, while Paul waited for them at Athens.
While Paul waited for them at Athens, read.
His spirit was stirred in him, and he saw the city wholly given to idolatry.
He saw the city wholly given to idolatry. Right? Now that's deep because what? Idolatry is what? That's a public showing of a people who worship and reverence gods outside of the God of Israel. So it's an open showing of defiance. So when you see people with idols to Mithra, you got Mithras back, these old statues back then. When you see East Indians with Buddhas and people with Buddhas in their homes, it's a public showing of rebellion. Straight rebellion. When you see people with statues of Cesar Borgia, statues of Mary, it's rebellion. They're telling you outright, they play for the other team. They play for the other team. I don't care what reason they have it before them. When it comes to lighting candles to it, they can have good purposes or good reasons for doing so. They can say, "Well, I'm lighting a candle to my lady for this because I need a healing for my son who's in the hospital." Now they can sell that to you, to the ignorant. Okay, but God, you can pray to God for that. You, in the name of Christ, you can just pray without what? Lighting candles and praying to a statue. There's something else in this, what they're doing with these statues and stones and all these others that they're not telling us. Right? So now it says what? Matter of fact, let's go to Psalms 96 and 4 real quick and read that and come right back to that.
Yes, sir. The book of Psalms 96 and 4.
Psalms 96, verse 4. Yes, sir, I'm there.
All right. For the Lord is great and greatly to be praised. He is to be feared above all gods.
He's to be feared above all gods. Read.
For all the gods of the nations are idols.
Are what?
Are idols.
Are idols. Read.
But the Lord made the heavens.
But our God, Ahia, the God of the Hebrews, made the heavens. So why are we going to some stinking rock? Why are we burning candles to this and that? Why are you standing in front of Mary with some rosary beads or whatever? When it was our God who made the heavens. Go straight to the source. So the Bible identify idolaters as those who are publicly in rebellion against God. They're in rebellion. So let's go straight back to where we were, Acts.
Yes, sir. The book of Acts, chapter 17, verse number 16.
Acts 17, let me get it here. Acts 17, verse 16, read it.
Now, while Paul waited for them at Athens, his spirit was stirred in him when he saw the city wholly given to idolatry.
Read.
Therefore disputed he in the synagogues with the Jews and with the devout persons, and in the market daily with them that met with him. Then certain philosophers of the Epicureans and of the Stoics encountered him, and some said, What will this babbler say? Other some, he seemeth to be a setter forth of strange gods, because he preached unto them Yeshua and the resurrection. And they took him and brought him unto Areopagus, saying, May we know with this new doctrine?
What is this new doctrine you're holding, Paul? Read.
Whereof thou speakest is? For thou bringest certain strange things to our ears. We would know therefore what these things mean. For all the Athenians and strangers which were there spent their time in nothing else, but either to tell or to hear some new thing. Paul stood in the midst of Mars Hill.
He stood in the midst of Mars Hill. We're going to show you the significance of that in a moment. Mars Hills. This is where what? This is where the spirits interact with government and all of that. They set up priests to control the population or to give knowledge to the elite for that population. Mars Hill, read.
Then Paul stood in the midst of Mars Hill and said, Ye men of Athens, I perceive that in all things you are too superstitious.
Read on. He says you're too superstitious. Read.
For as I passed by and held your devotions, I found an altar with this inscription, to the unknown God, whom therefore ye ignorantly worship, him declare I unto you.
He says you had an inscription that says to the unknown God, because everyone claimed that I don't know whether or not God exists, or is he true? We're trying to find him. And Paul says, listen, put all that crap down. We're declaring the true God to you. So do you really want to know him? It seems like all of your reverence and your direction towards trying to find spirituality is in search of this unknown God. And that's why all these idols are around, right? Well, I'm going to declare it to you so you can throw this junk in the trash. Okay? I'm going to declare that God to you, since it's all about this unknown God you're claiming, you're searching for. And folks, and I hear this amongst everybody. Some people will call him, they'll call him Q. They'll call him the source, the universe. They'll go into all these different names instead of admitting, nah, a lesser God is dealing with you. And what they'll try to claim, well, no, I just call him universe. It's still the same God you believe in. And guess what? In our response, no, it's not. No, it's not. It's another spirit. The Most High didn't tell Moses, I'm the universe. Okay. He gave Moses a name. Right? But I digress. Come on, Elder.
24. God that made the world and all things therein, seeing that he is Lord of heaven and earth, dwelleth not in temples made with hands.
Dwelleth not in temples made with hands. Now, what he was doing here by proclaiming this, thank you, Premier, bless you. What he was doing by saying this, he was getting in the way of the pagans' livelihood. This was getting in the way of the livelihood, folks. Listen, the whole economy of Rome, when it comes to merchant selling and all that, was predicated off of the population's core beliefs in these gods. The whole economy was set on that. Okay? The whole economy. So here it is. They done made all these statues and all these good luck sayings and all of this so that people can purchase these particular items to become closer to the spiritual world. And here's a man telling them those days you're dealing with are off. You're connecting your spirit to unseen fallen gods by worshiping these days. It's a defiant of the God you claim you're searching for. So he was getting in the way of all of the politics within Rome. The disciples were. Only for proclaiming the true gospel, the true doctrine, and or the true God. So the whole economy was predicated on these superstitions. right? When Easter come around, look at all the stores. You see bunny rabbits and all these eggs and all these things in every store like clockwork. When Christmas come around, you see all these trees pop up and everything is in the stores for that particular season. When Halloween and all these others are coming around, you see fallen leaves with pumpkins and all these other things in preparation for, and people don't even understand what it is. That's right, folks. It goes right back to the goddess. It goes right back to the goddess and how it transfers into real time. Well, the goddess, the woman, by celebrating these days, are empowered by that same spirit, and now she controls the dynamics of the family. The man is only what? The man is only an ornament that's replaceable as long as he's doing his job. This system that Satan set up can run flawlessly with the man's participation or without it. I'm going to tell you. Why? Because at the end of the day, the whole plan is to get rid of the man anyway. It's a part of the religion. I'm going to show you. Right? So, keep on going down.
Yes, sir. Picking up in 25.
25, let's go.
Neither is worship with men's hands, as though he needed anything, seeing he giveth to all life and breath and all things, and have made of one blood all nations of men for to dwell on all the face of the earth, and have determined the times before appointed and the bounds of their habitations.
So Paul dropped out, and our God have made one blood of all nations of men for to dwell on the face of the earth. Which means, think about this. The Gentiles are in rebellion also.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
They're in rebellion. The Gentiles are in rebellion. They was meant to serve the living God from the beginning and has gone off of the script, folks. Hence the reason the disciples came, not just to bring order to the children of Israel.
That's right.
It tell you right here, he have made one blood of all nations. He have made one blood of all nations. So you can't say this is an Israelite here, just Israelites.
Mm-hmm.
Of all nations who were supposed to serve the living God, they went off too. See, with this idolatry. Now, let's go to the next one, Elder, if you will.
Yes, sir. Going to the book of Acts, chapter 19.
Yes, sir.
And verse number 21.
19, verse 21. Let's read it.
After these things were ended, Paul purposed in the Spirit, when he had passed through Macedonia and Achaia, and to go to Jerusalem, saying, after I've been there, I must also see Rome. So he sent into Macedonia 2 of them that ministered unto him, Timotheus and Erastus, but he himself stayed in Asia for a season.
Read.
And the same time there arose no small stir about that way. For a certain man named Demetrius, a silversmith, which made silver shrines for Diana.
Silver shrines for Diana, who later became Mary after our people lost Jerusalem. The hunter. Esau's like, you know what? I will destroy Jacob through the spirit of a woman. He'll never see us coming. It's an ideology. The hunter. Who is she hunting? I'm going to show you. For a certain man named Demetrius, a silversmith, who made silver shrines for Diana. Now, this was the Mary being worshipped that you see with all the statues and all of that. Before they relabeled this statue Mary, it was Diana, folks. Before 70 AD, the same statues you see around the Catholic Church. Even when it came to St. Peter's Basilica, when you go over there, that's not Peter. The history is what? They took the Jupiter statue out of the pagan temple and placed it in the church and called it Peter. Called it Peter. For a certain man named Demetrius, a silversmith, who made silver shrines for Diana, read.
Brought no small gain unto the craftsmen.
Read.
Whom he called together with the workmen of like occupation and said, Sirs, ye know that by this craft we have our wealth.
Read.
Moreover, ye see and hear that not alone at Ephesus, but almost throughout all Asia, this Paul had persuaded and turned away much people, saying that they be no gods which are made with hands.
There's no gods which are made with hands. He's going right up against the what? The worships to the Queen Mother of Heaven. He's going up against it back then. Paul is a Benjamite, an Israelite. So there was a clear distinction, a separation between Christianity back then, that we see back then, compared to the modern Christianity we're witnessing today. This would be no different if Paul and the disciples were living in our time, going up to a Catholic church saying, take down that statue of Diana. They tricked us by renaming these gods and goddesses after what? After respected people that they know that we love within the Bible. That's what they did. They kept the same worships, the same deities, and just relabeled it so that they could sell it to us. So that now we can buy in to the same paganism Christ and the disciples was against. So what does this got to do with the blood of the saints? Well, understand this, folks. With that belief comes what? A spiritual authority. A spiritual authority will now come from this ideology. That now God's name, God's spirit is behind anything politically or otherwise that's pushed from the Vatican now. Now, suppose what they're pushing is the death for the children of Israel. What if that's the secret ideology of the whore? And we sitting there in church praying and all this, taking on this spirit that leads to a total extinction of God's people. See? Paul said, saying that there be no gods which are made with hands. 27.
So that not only this our craft is in danger to be set at naught, but also that the temple of the great goddess Diana should be despised, and her magnificence should be destroyed, whom all Asia and the world worshipeth.
Whom all Asia and the world worship, folks. This includes what? Western Asia, Central Asia, not just Eastern Asia. This includes, that's right, folks, the Babylonian Asia, like the East Indians. They were all worshiping her, folks. Why do you think they're allowing all of them in amongst us right now? It's the final battle. They're coming in with a full understanding of their position and their job against us, physically and or spiritually. See? They heard about this Judah have been hyper signaling all over the world this gospel that have awakened everyone. They're like, nah, we're going to the old Babylonians who worship the mother since the beginning, and we're going to bring all of them over here to destroy and undermine the saints. And it says, the great goddess Diana should be despised, and her magnificence should be destroyed, whom all Asia in the world worshipeth. Read. And when they heard these sayings, read.
And when they heard these sayings, they were full of wrath.
The people were mad. Because guess what? Paul, the disciples, were standing for righteousness. They knew that this was going to negatively and was negatively affecting our people. And when they heard these sayings, they were full of wrath, read.
And cried out, saying, Great is Diana of the Ephesians.
Read.
And the whole city was filled with confusion, and having caught Gaius and Aristarchus, men of Macedonia, Paul's companions in travel, they rushed with one accord into the theater.
Come on.
And when Paul would have entered in unto the people, the disciples suffered him not. And certain of the chief of Asia, which were his friends, sent unto him, desiring him that he would not adventure himself into the theater. Some therefore cried one thing, and some another, for the assembly was confused, and the more part knew not wherefore they were come together. And they drew Alexander out of the multitude, the Jews putting him forward. And Alexander beckoned with the hands, and would have made his defense unto the people. But when they knew that he was a Jew, all with one voice about the space of 2 hours cried out, Great is Diana of the Ephesians. And when the town clerk had appeased the people, he said, Ye men of Ephesus, what man is there that knoweth not how that the city of the Ephesians is a worshipper of the great goddess Diana, and of the image which fell down from Jupiter?
And the image that fell down from Jupiter. The image that fell down from Jupiter is the stone. The Kaaba stone, folks. The Romans had it first. And later it was taken to Mecca. A lot of you don't even know this. That stone in Mecca have nothing to do with Abraham and all. They're lying. This stone was worshipped amongst the Romans first and was later taken to Mecca. Hence the reason why they seek to destroy the saints with who? Led by these two religions, modern day Christianity and modern day Islam. They're the merchants who are paid to come over to control and or stop the children of Israel from rising. Folks, let me tell you, I don't know what they're reading in the New Testament in these Christian churches. I've never read this in the Christian church. While being in the Christian church. Because all you have to do is do the research and say, okay. It seems as if the disciples were against what we would deem today as modern day Christianity. So they switched out a Nimrod with Jesus. Kept the same worships. The virgin son. No father. They switched out Mary with Diana. See? You got Jupiter and the Yule child from ancient Babylon. That's your Trinity, folks, of today. That's your Trinity. Satan's Trinity. Seeing what?
Seeing then that these things cannot be spoken against, ye ought to be quiet, and to do nothing rashly. For ye have brought hither these men, which are neither robbers of churches, nor yet blasphemers of your goddess. Wherefore, if Demetrius and the craftsmen which are with them have a matter against any man, the law is open, and there are deputies. Let them implead one another.
Let them implead with one another. We're going to stop there because I just wanted to give brothers and sisters today a reference, a holding spot to show you in scriptures that what you see us going against today happened back then. It happened back then. It's a spirit of Diana that the Romans would use as a form of control over the population to eventually take full power and authority over the families, and then subsequent to that, get rid of the men altogether. That's the plan. Now, let's now go to the book of Revelation, John on the Isle of Patmos, John 1. Revelation, the first chapter, where now the Most High, through the Spirit of Christ, is about to prepare Paul to understand what God's people would be up against. Right? Let's start at the first verse.
Revelation 1 verse 1. The revelation of Yeshua Mashiach, which God gave unto him, to show unto his servants things which must shortly come to pass. And he sent and signified it by his angel unto his servant John, who bear record of the word of God and of the testimony of Yeshua Mashiach and of all things that he saw. Blessed is he that readeth, and they that hear the words of this prophecy, and keep the things which are written therein, for the time is at hand.
For the time is at hand. Blessed is he that readeth. Everything that's going on in the earth is contained within the Bible. Everything. And I'm talking about the complete context of how the world is and what's going on. It can all be quantified within the Bible. The one book all nations and all religions has been against. This one book. That's why they don't want you reading it, because it gives you the insight on how to operate in this world, understanding who's your friend and who's your enemy. Okay? It gives you the insight, the understanding of how to survive what we know now as Jacob's trouble. Right? Jacob's trouble. Because don't forget, Jacob is under duress by his brother Esau, but Esau is attacking indirectly. Indirectly. And Jacob is so naive, Jacob is just getting picked off. Whether it be in the medical field, whether you going to the doctor and it's medical apartheid. Whether it be in a relationship, and now the spirit of the hunter is being utilized indirectly to a woman to keep you at bay and to protect you from not opposing Esau. Okay? Or take you out altogether. Right? Read on.
4. John to the 7 churches that which are in Asia. Grace be unto you, peace, from him which is, and which was, and which is to come, from the 7 spirits which are before his throne, and from Yeshua Mashiach, who is the faithful witness, and the first begotten of the dead, and the prince of the kings of the earth, unto him that loved us and washed us from our sins in his own blood, and have made us kings and priests unto God and his Father. To him be glory and dominion forever. Amen. Behold, he cometh with the clouds, and every eye shall see him, and they also which pierced him, and all the kindreds of the earth shall wail because of him. Even so, Amen. I am the Alpha and Omega, the beginning and the ending, saith the Lord, which is and which was and which is to come, the Almighty. I, God, who also am John, who also am your brother and companion in tribulation and the kingdom and patience of Yeshua Mashiach, was on the Isle of Patmos, or which is called Patmos, for the word of God and for the testimony of Yeshua Mashiach. I was in the Spirit on the Lord's day and heard behind me a great voice as of a trumpet.
This is John on the Sabbath. And see, and that's why it's so important to be in the Word on the Sabbath, to be hallowed on the Sabbath. Because when you're on the Sabbath, you're in direct connection with the Almighty. Not Sunday. He was in the Spirit on the Lord's day. 11.
Saying, I am the Alpha and Omega, the first and the last, what thou seest, write it in a book, and send it unto the 7 churches which are in Asia, unto Ephesus, and unto Smyrna, and unto Pergamos, and unto Thyatira, and unto Sardis, and unto Philadelphia, and unto Laodicea.
So he told them, hey, send this message to the 7 churches. So the 7 churches would have the knowledge and understanding, folks, concerning the last days. While the whole world is confused, Christ himself sent it to John, gave it to John, and John made sure through the Spirit, eventually the angels of the churches would take it to the 7 churches. That's where you get your message in the bottle thing from. John was on the island, but the churches got it. They received everything that Christ gave John. He said, write it down. He said, write it down, and we're going to get it to the churches. So they had the secrets concerning the last days. Now, where does this woman come in at? This mystery. Where does she come in at? Right? Elder Lawyer, if you can, let's go to Matthew 24 real quick. Where does she come in at? This mystery woman. I'm going to show you. Okay? Think about this. They knew the whole thing. So it was up to what? The Romans or Esau. It was up to him to flip everything around during that time of darkness after our forefathers, after they died and lost Jerusalem. When we started scattering and scavenging for survival, it was up to them to rewrite history and to block the paths back to what our forefathers knew. Even what the disciples understood. They had to block the path. Because if you know what's being shown to John, you understand everything that's going on within the world prophetically. Everything. And you understand who's the threat and who's up under the threat. All things aren't relative. These are not just some bad people out here doing things for political power and money. Okay? That's why they did everything, folks, to destroy the path back concerning what Christ warned John of. And he warned him about us right now and what we would be going through as a people right now and what to do through it. And that direction would be what signaled through the 7 churches. So what did Esau do? Go to Matthew 24. Let's go there real quick. The signs. Matthew 24. Here's the signs. Let's read it real quick.
Say Matthew 24 and verse.
Let's go straight to it. And he sat upon the Mount of Olives. 3.
Yes, sir. Verse 3. And as he sat upon the Mount of Olives, the disciples came unto him privately, saying, Tell us, when shall these things be? And what shall be the sign of thy coming and of the end of the world?
What shall be the sign of thine coming and the end of the world? What world? Esau's world. After Esau falls, this world will still be here. Right? And Yeshua answered and said unto them, read.
Take heed that no man deceive you.
No man deceive you. Here's the first clue. Here's the first thing that would happen. Once, this is the first event that would ensue after the fall of Jerusalem. They will get all their scholars together, all their priests together, and begin the infiltration. For many shall what?
For many shall come in my name, saying, I am Christ, and shall deceive many.
We're going to set up a deceptive institution in the name of Christ. It will be titled Christ, Christians. but really it would have the ideology and religion behind it that seek to destroy the saints. Okay? It would have the blood of the saints. And because our lack of knowledge, Hosea 4:6, concerning that time period, we never really asked the critical questions up in church. We never asked, brothers and sisters, the critical questions. Where are the Romans? Where are the Romans? See? How can the Romans, who according to the Bible we love, who are responsible for killing the original disciples, how did they become the authority over the church to now give us the righteous path back to the Father? We never even asked that question. Where are the Romans? Who are they? Because in the Bible, these were the people who were the idolaters, the pagans. They were against God, Christ, and God's people. They destroyed Jerusalem according to the desolation given to Daniel. They gave our people hell strictly for worshiping our God that's contained in the Bible. They utterly destroyed the temple, killed us, enslaved us, thrown us in arenas, and then all of a sudden they come out as the authority over Christendom? How can they be the authority of Christians? We never asked the critical questions. And if they destroyed us back then, and that was their intent, at what time in history did that change? When did it change? Because it didn't stop here, 70 AD. They found us in Timbuktu and destroyed all of that. They found us in Africa and destroyed us there. They found us, they financed the slave trade. All of these things I'm mentioning, folks, were sanctioned from the Catholic Church's authority. They found us here in the Americas and destroyed us here. The 10 tribes. And then on top of it, to show you how diabolical and evil they are, they're doing it in the name of the only man who can save us from it, which is confusing the people even more. At least when the pagan Romans began to destroy Jerusalem, we knew the pagan Romans were destroying Jerusalem. The people understood it. But now, everyone and everywhere is against Christianity or against Christ because they believe that the authority that the Roman Catholic Church has, the evil intent, is all through the religion that's written in the Bible. They believe the Bible has directed these people to do this, which is confusing our people even more when they see that Christians have destroyed these people. And through that, many people have turned to paganism. See? Many people who once believed in the Bible said, if this Bible is allowing what this white man's doing, and it's a blueprint on how to do it, I would rather worship another God. And folks, best believe that was Satan's plan. They wanted us out of the Bible, so to conceal who they are. They wanted us out of the Bible, folks. So here it is. Someone asked, why are they so focused on us as a people? Great question. And I'm going to read something out of this book real quick. In the light of prophecy, let in on the dark places of the papacy. Right? This is a book from the late 1800s. Another Alexander Hislop record. But one thing I like about what's in this book, I'm only going to read a few excerpts from it, is that in the back of the book, all the references are there concerning all the history books and all that throughout time is actually within the book itself. Okay? Now, someone asks, why, ask Elder Lawyer, why are they so fixated on us? It was in the prophecy in Genesis 25. Right? Let me show you. Let's go back to Genesis 25 again. Genesis 25, where it says, the elder shall serve the younger. Read it again.
Genesis 25 and 23. And the Lord said unto her, 2 nations are in thy womb,
2 different races,
and 2 manner of people shall be separated from thy bowels, and the one people shall be stronger than the other people, and the elder shall serve the younger.
This is why they're so focused on us. The elder shall serve the younger. Here's the unfulfilled prophecy that Esau is seeking to stave off. He's the firstborn. Isaac told him he was going to get a dominion. He's ruling right now. So he knows that his empire is almost over and that Jacob, his brother, has been prophesied to rule over the whole earth upon the coming of our Lord and Savior. So why are they so focused on us? Because we're close to dominion. We're close to what was promised. We're the only people standing in Esau's way when it comes to authority and ruling over the earth. We're the only people in his way. He don't care about getting in the way of East Indians. There's no prophecy of East Indians doing anything outside of following who's ever in charge. Every other nation is placed in the earth to serve the dominion. So you're going to focus on who? Your prophetic threat. That's what you're going to focus on. You don't got to worry about Chinese people. Our God never said that Japheth was going to rule anything. That's why. He's going to always focus on us. Right? Because we're in the way of him keeping his authority. And he's losing it and can't do anything about it. He's losing all of his power over the people. And can't do anything about it. Because why? That's a clear indication of the prophecy. That God is bringing us down and raising Jacob now. And they can't do anything about it. See? They can't do anything about it. So they're panicking and they're going with a new depopulation program. And the depopulation, folks, is really what? Getting the whole earth on board with getting rid of us. When they say sustainability, it's talking about sustaining Esau's power. That's what sustainability is. It have nothing to do with the earth and all this crap, what they're claiming with global warming and all these things. They need to put an infrastructure in place to get rid of us before Christ returns. That's the plan. So yeah, if you knew that there was like for instance, if you knew someone was going to disturb your way of life and what you built all your life, wouldn't you'll be focused on that person too? Right? So again, before we go into the scriptures real quick, one scripture real quick, I would like to go into this book. where it talks about the gods and goddesses that the Roman Catholic Church hides real quick. It says they are medieval between, let me see. Yeah. And a matter of fact, for those who don't know, apostasy, they are medieval. Yeah. Again, understand this. And we're not saying Esau cannot be saved. Let me make it clear. See, but when we say Esau can be saved, he's in the same boat as all Gentiles. We don't separate Esau from Gentiles. They're still Gentiles. They're not Israelites. So when we say Esau can be saved, it's not because some stuff loving white people, okay? Mm-hmm. We put them in the same boat as all Gentiles who believe in Christ. All Gentiles, if they follow Christ, will be there when Christ returns. For those who believe in him, will be there to what? To serve us, led through Christ, in the kingdom. Now, when it comes to the force part of things, Christ is not going to have to force people to do anything. Okay? Either you serve or die. That's not a force. That's a choice. That's a choice. Okay? That's not him, hey, why don't you follow me? No, it's a choice. There's no force. It's a choice. You serve or die. Like, for instance, right now, our people have been serving Esau. We're still living. We still have choices. We still deal with I would say, the benefits of life. But Esau is just in charge. Esau's in charge. So when people try to claim, oh, no, they just love white people. Folks, don't get caught into the satanic gaslighting. Okay? And the ad hominems. Because they'll frame it that way so that other people out there will think that this is what the Gathering of Christ Church teaches. So they'll focus on the white man. Nah. All nations. Because we're not obsessed with the white man like that. Okay? We're not obsessed with the white man like that at all. Now, people, when you make the white man and hating the white man your full doctrine, everything is seen through the white man. Okay? So when we talk about Esau, we're speaking of him according to prophecy. And we're speaking of him as one of many Gentiles. So yes, Esau, the Edomites who turn to Christ, can be saved. Now, they will not have equal power in the kingdom with Israelites. That's utterly ridiculous. The elder shall serve the younger. See how simple that is? The elder shall serve the younger. See? Now, let's read this real quick, if you will, Elder, for the sake of time.
Mm-hmm. All right. It says, they are mediators between heaven and earth. To them especially prayers are addressed, and through their intercession all benefits are obtained. Although the word of God expressly declares that as there is only one God, so is there only one mediator between God and man. Papists have added other mediators without number.
He's talking about the Catholic Church. Papists have added other mediators without number. Speaking of the Christian Church, the Catholic Church. Read.
who have usurped the place of God's only begotten Son.
Read.
Thus in pagan idolatry, unblushingly engrafted by Rome upon the Christian church. The papists indeed try to shift from themselves the odium of the charge of idolatry.
He says they try to hide the fact that they are idolaters and nothing ever changed since their worships in Rome. With Diana. Nothing ever changed, folks. The only thing changed was what? The programming us into the false Christian doctrine to accept the same deities they've been worshiping since Rome. They never, folks, it was never a time that the Romans stopped worshiping those gods and goddesses. It's their Christian indoctrination which actually got us on board with it. Read.
The papists indeed try to shift from themselves the odium of the charge of idolatry.
Thank you, Tyra. Read.
By subtle distinctions about supreme and relative worship, about the kind of worship due to God and that due to their canonized mediators. But in order to prove that their church has in this respect utterly apostatized from the faith of the gospel, we have no need to puzzle ourselves with their superfine and quibbling distinctions. We have not the least occasion to inquire whether the worship they bestow upon the saints is dulia or latria. Whatever it be, it is manifest that they give the same honor to these saints.
They give the same honor to these saints. Read.
As the heathen did to their demons.
As the heathen did to their demons. Folks, the saints in the Catholic Church aren't the saints by name like they're claiming. They use Peter's name. They use John's name and all of this. But the saints they worship was the same old demons they were worshiping in secret under the religion Mithraism, the secret religion. But how do they sell it to us? They'll tell us we're burning candles to saints that we can relate to out of the Bible. But really, these people worship demons, folks. That's why yesterday I called the Queen Mother of Heaven, or not Mary, but the person they're using with the Mary mask on, a demoness. The harlot mother. That's the spirit that has, folks, it has infested the world spiritually. This is a fact, read.
Which is substantially admitted by themselves and by those who are recognized as authorities among them. Thus, for instance, speaks Theodoret, one of the fathers who had a great hand in the bringing this idolatry into the church.
Remember that name down the line. I'm going to be dealing with him, this history in the academy. Theodoret, one of the fathers who have a great hand in bringing this idolatry into the church. Okay, this was after our fall, folks. They began to what? You got it. Uphold the idolatry right up under our nose without us realizing, and they began to teach ideologies. They started, that's why when you go to Sunday school, the first thing they teach you is what? The child in the manger and the virgin mother. So as you grow, you believe Christ's power and miracles are connected to him being birthed without a father. Straight satanic indoctrination. They do it at an early age. The martyrs, read.
The martyrs have blotted out the minds of men, says he, addressing the pagans.
Addressing the pagans, read.
The memory of those who are called gods. For our Lord have brought his dead into the place of your gods, whom he have utterly abolished, and have given their honors to the martyrs. For instead of the festivals of Jupiter and Bacchus,
it used to be called in Rome the festivals of Jupiter and Bacchus. What did they switch that to?
Are now celebrated the festivals of Peter and Paul and Thomas and the other martyrs.
Look at this. The same time in our current time where they do festivals of Peter, Paul, and Thomas and the martyrs of saints, they're really doing it on the same days as the worships to Jupiter and Bacchus without telling the world's population. So the Romans never put down their pagan gods. They just deceived us into worshiping them. See that? The inscriptions
on many of the Roman Catholic churches testify the very same thing. For instance, at Rome on the spot, where there anciently stood a temple to Mars.
A temple to Mars, what Paul went against. The temple of Mars we read of in Acts. It's what?
There is now erected a church to Saint Martina.
They erected a church to Saint Martina. So when Christians go there, they'll think it's connected to someone spiritual who hold the doctrine handed down from the disciples, and it's going right back to the pagan worshipers and worshiping that the disciples defied. And because our people had such a profound effect in getting and convincing even the Gentiles to leave paganism, Rome was incinerated and decreed death on the disciples. The blood of the saints. Hope y'all seeing this here, because this is the perfect setting now for us to go to Revelation 17. The table had been set now. Right? Let's now go, Elder Lawyer, to Revelation 17, and we're going to show you how their secret weapon is a spirit of a woman. That's the secret weapon since the beginning, and it has been their control over the population since Babylon. You get the women on board and make it where the women aren't participating with the men unless they follow suit, which automatically gives the authority to the woman, where she becomes the shot caller for the family traditions. See? She becomes the shot caller now, because in order for the man to be in favor with the wife, he must follow the traditions that have been instilled and handed down from her mother to her. See how it works? And it becomes systematic. Now, some people may ask, well, what's wrong with that? Well, that same authority spiritually to bring people together for tradition and all that, well, the government can now use it politically. You trust in all the good things that comes with those gatherings, and now, without separating the two, you trust what's coming from her. So the only thing the government have to do is say, hey, there's a drug everyone have to take or everyone is going to die. And then she'll what? She will press the whole family to get on board through that authority. See? Automatically, anything they need to bring forth politically as a form of controlling the man, they can do it through the woman's power that she gained religiously under the spirit, through the spirit of the Queen Mother of Heaven. She's a trusted figure, a loving figure. And through that, anything the government wants to push, it's automatically done. Or she won't participate. Either you get down with what she's saying, or she will become a terror. She's the authority. She knows what's right for her home. So they took that same religious authority and say, you know what? We can put everything on this conveyor belt. She's the mouthpiece. She dictates what goes on with the home. And guess what? It's nothing wrong with that authority if she's dealing in the spirit of a helpmeet. If she's dealing in the spirit of a virtuous wife. There's nothing wrong with that. If the right traditions and laws, if she's pushing those things in the home, then it's good. But if she's under the spirit of the queen harlot, with the traditions of this world, hey, men don't stand a chance. I said it early. When I went to Jeremiah and showed that it was the women getting together without the men. It was the women getting together. And now you look in our current society within today, currently, it's the women getting together without the men. Again, showing that spirit have taken center stage and no one could identify it. It's a mystery. It's a spirit that's tying all these women together. We're going to talk about it. Yeah. Right? Let's go here real quick. Revelation 17, let's read it.
Revelation 17:1. And there came one of the 7 angels which had the 7 vials, and talked with me, saying, Come hither. I will show unto thee the judgment of the great whore that sitteth upon many waters.
I will show you the judgment of the great whore that sitteth on many waters, folks. I will show you the judgment of the great whore that sitteth on many waters. Man, we've been so focused on the fake Cesar Borgia, the false image of Christ. Because really, that's been a thing that we've been putting out there for a long time, rightfully so, the lie that Christ was a white man. That the spirit they utilize have been overlooked. It's Mary, or not Mary, it's Diana. Masked as Mary is the spirit that they put up that will be utilized to destroy the man. It was her. It's in the book, The Secret History of the Jesuits. They more so lean towards the worship of Mary. But we know it's not Mary. Because through this spirit, it allowed Esau to consolidate control. If I control her, then guess what? I'm in power over the whole family. I don't care how strong the man is. I don't care. If I can instill this spirit in the home of any believer, we can indirectly control, they can indirectly control that house through the Jesuit spells, through the Vatican's craft. Through the Vatican's craft. Folks, this is high magic. This is high magic. They deal with high magic. If they can only get the Queen Mother of Heaven and have all of the women celebrating her indirectly, her spirit now. This spirit now controls the house. She don't even know she's being controlled. She doesn't even know. But she'll stand 10 toes down on keeping the traditions alive, proving her power. And men, they be shamed or feel guilt. I've known people, folks, who've been put out of the house and relationships didn't work because a man decided, just on a low level, to make a stand on not celebrating holidays. Where a woman will choose celebrating the holidays over her relationship. Tell me that's not magic. Tell me there's not a spell there. Tell me there's not a spell there. I need y'all to think about it. I hear over and over, hey, and a woman should want this. I want a God-fearing man. You ask women over and over again, what do you want? What do you want? And the same thing comes out, not outside of what they make, because sometimes that comes up. But hey, a God-fearing man. Okay, yeah, a God-fearing man. And they can roll off their tongue what a God-fearing man looks like. according to their thoughts. But then you ask them, okay, what's a God-fearing woman? They didn't even think. They didn't even think to come to that conclusion within themselves. To give what they're expecting. Well, what's a God-fearing woman? You can roll off your tongue what a God-fearing man is. But they love a God-fearing man because a God-fearing man is what? According to the Bible, there's a such thing amongst the man where there's an obedience to God on what? How this man should treat her. So she know that there's an automatic what? Barrier or restrictions spiritually on that man that benefits what she would like out of the relationship. Right? There's parameters with a God-fearing man that now she can come down on him if he stepped beyond those parameters. Okay. Well, what's a God-fearing woman? And a lot of them can't answer the question because of this right here. Why am I going here? A God-fearing woman is under obedience to a man. She's a helpmeet to a man. And that means if a man says, listen, we're not celebrating Christmas no more. She's not, there will be no pushback. Yes, honey. Yes, my dear. You said it. I'm a helpmeet. I'm behind you as a God-fearing woman. No Christmas. Okay, no Easter either. No pagan holidays. No Sunday worship. That's a God-fearing woman. He's going to look at him and say, okay. All right. Huh? Oh, yeah, by the way, I'm putting some restrictions in place, which means you follow my lead and all those girlfriends out there that you have that you know isn't right. I'm going to show you how to interact with them without compromising what we have. And if they step over the line or you step over the line, guess what? You're going to have to make a choice between them and me. Okay? Because you say you want a God-fearing man. You say you want a leader. Well, a leader set parameters. See what I'm dropping here? Now, but here it is. If she's the queen already, without a king, she's the God. She's the mother of God. What can you tell her? What can you tell the queen of heaven? What type of obedience that she falls under? Right? A queen without a king. You see how what happened in the Christian church? They subtly taught disobedience against the Bible using ancient paganism ideology. And the ancient pagan ideology is to control all of the communities, the earth, through the weaker vessel. And to subdue the men and eventually kill the men. That's the spirit right here. Let's go. Let's read it real quick.
Yes, sir. Revelation 17:1. And there came one of the 7 angels which had the 7 vials, and talked with me, saying unto me, Come hither, I will show unto thee the judgment of the great whore.
The judgment of the great whore.
That sitteth upon many waters.
That sitteth upon many waters. Every place the Roman Catholic Church go, they bring the spirit of Diana, the hunter, with them. They put it in the harbor of New York. Read on.
With whom the kings of the earth have committed fornication, and the inhabitants of the earth have been made drunk with the wine of her fornication. So he carried me away in the spirit into the wilderness, and I saw a woman sit upon a scarlet-colored beast full of names of blasphemy.
A scarlet-colored beast full of names of blasphemy. Read.
Having 7 heads and 10 horns.
7 heads and 10 horns. You all know it's the 7 hills of Rome. And the 10 horns are the 10 European countries that made the original European Union. Read.
And the woman was arrayed in purple and scarlet color, and decked with gold and precious stones and pearls, and having a golden cup in her hand, full of abominations and filthiness of her fornication.
Full of abomination and filthiness of her fornication. And she was arrayed in what?
Purple and scarlet.
Thousands of years, folks, beforehand, John was shown this. That she would be arrayed in purple and who? Purple and scarlet red. Purple and scarlet. John was telling us back then, brothers and sisters, Satan's church. Satan's church, who would use the spirit of the goddess as a form of political control over the people who are now under their subjection. The spirit of the harlot as a form of political control. Because this is not just a religious institution. It's a political institution. To control the whole world through a craft. Using who? You got it. The spirit of the goddess. The goddess of the hunt. The goddess of the hunt. So how can a woman hunt a man within that ideology? She have to use her wiles. We're going to show you this. She have to use her strength, being naturally weaker than men. But she's a hunter. That's your spirit of whom they lied and called Mary in our current time within the Christian churches. So you wonder why all the churches are filled with women and there's no men there? Folks, it was the church of Bacchus like that during the time of Rome. That was their plan the whole time. To give women all authority to eventually destroy the men, to finish what Rome could not complete in 70 AD. So let's talk about it real quick. Let's go.
Verse 5.
Verse 5.
And upon her forehead was a name written, Mystery Babylon the Great, the mother of harlots and abominations of the earth.
The mystery of Babylon the Great, the mother of harlots. Little did we know that there would be an ideology behind this whore that operates even outside the Christian paradigm. The Christian paradigm. So it doesn't matter what a woman's belief system is, whether she's religious, non-religious, but something will, a spirit will bring them together, united, all the same, regardless of their religious persuasion. Why? They're teaching us in some of these universities and all these different scenarios that it's their core united vitriol against men. But is it deeper than that? Is it deeper than that? What's uniting these women who don't have the same religion, same persuasion, but yet they find themselves together with women? What's uniting them? It's a spirit. It's a spirit. And guess what? The spirit is not just to destroy the man. It's not just to destroy the man. Because when there's no men, there'll be no protectors left for women. It's to destroy us all. But they have to get what? They have to get the physical threat out of the way first. And they cannot do that. If they were to oppose the black man frontal and unite us together, that's a war they know they would lose. They'd rather have us fragmented as a people, as men, and pick us off one at a time through the medical system or through that system, or through a system that turns one against another. Because they know what would happen if you united Israelite men together throughout the earth. That's a war they can't win. So they said, you know what? We're going to destroy them through the spirit of the queen. That has been their secret weapon, folks. And it's embedded within all of society, not just the religious sector. It's a spirit that unite all women and make them all of one common mind against man without them even realizing it. And how do you know it's a spirit? You would have women who don't even feel that way about men, but still will find themselves in circles with women that does. That's how you know it's a spirit. You're not going to find me associating with a person that's contrary to who I am. That's totally contrary to that. No. It's not like that. Right? So let's talk about it. The beehive, exactly. Let's go to the 6th verse. Let's read it.
And
I'm going to tell you this. This is not a spirit that's just, this spirit isn't pro-woman. Let's make that clear. This spirit is also anti-woman. Okay? It's not anti-man. It's anti-woman too. Because then you will have it where, hey, and I had to really look at this and say, man, this spirit is deep. It's here to destroy us all. Because you will have a woman who can agree to not like men, but then you have women who don't like each other. Right? Well, they really don't like each other. They don't like men. So if we don't like anyone, who's going to be there to help us through concerning what's about to happen? Right? So that's how you know this spirit is just not anti-man. It's anti-woman too. See? And they was able to, through a subtle psychology, implement this spirit within the doctrine of all Christian churches. Where the spirit of Jezebel is intertwined within the spirit of the church they set up. See? Jezebel is a direct result or an identifying marker to a woman who's actually in the spirit of that queen, seeking authority over the men, speaking against the men, seeking to kill the prophets. At least the church had what? An identifying marker with the label Jezebel. right? Here's the order according to God. Here's the order we'll have in the church. And then we can see outright the spirit that's contrary to the church once she's acting in the spirit of Jezebel, and identify and mark her. See? So we'd be like, see, the church made it clear, plain, simple. But in the Christian church, the Jezebel is intertwined within the doctrine, where now you can identify her. See? And I saw, and now, what's the plan of the harlot? Let's read it. 6.
And I saw the woman drunken with the blood of the saints.
I saw the woman drunken with the blood of the saints. So her position is to do what? To exterminate the saints. That's her power. That's what she seek to do, religiously and otherwise. I saw that woman drunken with the blood of the saints. And what?
And with the blood of the martyrs of Yeshua.
And with the blood of the martyrs of Yeshua, the same spirit that was responsible for killing the martyrs of Christ. I need y'all to think about this, folks. There's many examples. A party with the king and all that down in the New Testament, and John the Baptist in prison, and here it is. Oh yeah, honey, anything you want for the night for your blessed day. What would you like? Oh, bring me John the Baptist's head on a platter. They say they're having a good time. The woman could have said, give me anything. And she says, I'll tell you what. Y'all got John the Baptist in the basement. Bring his head on a platter. Here it is, this woman with no power at all. With no power physically to do anything. Use the power of the king to kill a saint. See? The secret weapon. And I'm just showing you one example. Now imagine if you can set that up everywhere, up in every house, over every community. Huh? A lot of people don't know that's how John the Baptist died. It's because a woman said, hey, give me his head on a plate. That's power. She don't have to be the king. But she can will the power of the king, though. And hence the reason why the queen is the most deadly piece on the board of chess. You'll sacrifice any piece on the board. But Lord have mercy. If you lose that queen early, guess what happens? Usually, you'll knock over your king. You'll knock over the king. Right? Your whole continent's changed when you see that queen out of here. And then if you get your pawn close enough to the end and get the pawn on the other side, now you have more than one queen to fight with. Game over. The ideology of the queen is to destroy the man. That's the ideology of the queen, and it's baked into the Christian religion and all the Christian traditions. It's baked in it. And how do you know it's a spirit? I mean, I can go on and on and on because I only got a few scriptures to go through right now. But I can go on and on and on. But how do you know it's a spirit? Right now, in the Christian church right now, It's 99.9% women in all of the pagan churches that go into Sunday church right now, with no men, but they still go. They're still there. They're still there, not realizing if a church doesn't have men, the authority of God no longer reigns over that congregation. That's how you know it's a spirit. They're still there. Let's read it. And I saw a woman drunken with the blood of the saints
and with the blood of the martyrs of Yeshua. And when I saw her, I wondered with great admiration.
I wondered with great admiration. I admired her. This woman. Folks, it's an ideology. Hold it and go to Revelations 12, and then I got to get one more to show you the nature . The nature of a woman's power in the book of Reuben, where it shows what her power is. Not that women don't understand their power already. It's men who have been the naive ones. Let's get Revelations 12. And guess what? In our communities, they're not hiding it at all anymore. They don't want no men in authority anywhere. The political money is behind women in authority, which was the plan. At one point, it was subtle. It was there. We could sense something wasn't right, but still, the optics of a man's power was present. Right? But now, they're like, listen, Esau's like, listen, we're not holding back anymore. All right? Put women up, and we need to make the black man extinct. Our time is running out. Jacob has woke up. We don't got no time for this politic crap. We need people who are 100% on board. Okay? Who will not rock the boat and bring forth any legislation that's pushed, even if it's contrary to their existence. And the only way we can do this is to make sure no men are in power. Period. Because a woman in that position would just be glad ceremonially to hold that position just because she's respected in it. Period. That's it. It doesn't have to transfer to anything good happening for their people. She's good. See? So now they're not even pulling any punches anymore. Okay, they're going straight for the jugular. Okay, we're doing a real good job and a real good job in totally eradicating the saints and destroying the saints. And how do you know? Hold up, before I go there, Elder, let's show you the saints are God's people. Real quick. Where it says, gather my saints together.
Mm-hmm. All right, so Psalms 148 and 12. In fact, let me get it here.
It's another one there.
Yep, Psalms 50 and 5.
50 and 5, yeah. Mm-hmm. Let's get that one.
Psalms 50 and 5.
Psalms, the 50th chapter. Gather my saints together. Let's read it.
Psalms 50 verse 5. Gather my saints together unto me.
Now, who are the saints of the Almighty? Read.
Those that have made a covenant with me by sacrifice.
Those who have made a covenant with God by sacrifice. The only people who made A covenant with God by sacrifice in the Old Testament were the 12 tribes of Israel. The covenant that was given to Moses. We're the saints. There is no saints within the Roman Catholic Church. That doesn't exist. That doesn't exist. So when it talks about the spiritual reverence of the queen, folks, it's an ideology. It's an indoctrination that they utilize, and they give this spirit to the woman as a form of control over the population. Because indirectly, she's being utilized without knowing it. And in that authority, anything Esau, being the man, Esau the hunter, put on the conveyor belt within a community, through her authority, she'll execute everything. I don't care if it's medication. I don't care if the children have to go down and do these things in school that you don't agree with, as far as getting stuff to be able to go to school. If y'all know what I mean, she will be the enforcer of everything in that position. Everything. Through fear, she executes everything Esau lays down. And now we're at the very end of the plan where it's okay. Now it's time to get rid of your men altogether. That's the plan now. But it started a long time ago. Let's go to Revelations 12. Revelations 12. And let's start at around the 12th verse, when it goes into the blood of the saints. Revelations 12. And let's start at 12. Therefore, rejoice, ye heavens.
Yes, sir. Revelation 12 and 12. Therefore, rejoice, ye heavens, and ye that dwell in them. Woe to the inhabitants of the earth and of the sea, for the devil is come down unto you, having great wrath, because he knoweth that he hath but a short time.
Read.
And when the dragon saw that he was cast unto the earth, he persecuted the woman which brought forth the man-child.
He persecuted the woman that brought forth the man-child. After Christ's death, the Roman Empire turned their sights on our people. The people who brought forth Jesus Christ. Yeshua is his name. Yeshua Mashiach. See that? So they couldn't kill Christ. Christ resurrected and he was up there on the throne. It was over. The first begotten from the dead, right before everyone. Glorified. So what they thought they killed, they actually unleashed even more power. What they thought they killed was able now to go throughout the earth and now resides in his people. Christ's spirit. See? So they say, we're going to kill the woman who brought forth the man-child. That's their plan, folks, and it never ended. We need to destroy the people who brought forth that Savior. So they set up institutions, churches, and hospitals all around the earth. Why? So that they can get the genetics. So when an opportunity to exterminate our people, every place they've colonized is given, they'll be able to strike once and get rid of all of us at once, based on them understanding the genetic codes. They understand every strand of genetics for each tribe. But they needed to now what? Use the science to now get all of us dependent on the institutions that they can utilize for biowarfare. To accomplish what they couldn't do back then. To finish it. So these hospitals and all of this, folks, it's all about the genetics and identifying the one threat. If there's one male child with God's genetics in him of the 12 tribes, the elder, which is Esau, is going to serve what comes from him. See? And this is why the target is predominantly the man child. You even have a thing online right now where the women are celebrating, saying that they will delete the child if they find out that they're having a boy. There's conversation all online where there's a whole, I don't understand how they're allowed to do this. Where these women get together, they get pregnant and say, if it's a boy, we're in agreements that we get rid of the child. Right? So, folks, this is how bad it has become. And when the dragon saw that he was cast into the earth, he persecuted the woman which brought forth the man child, because the seed of a nation comes through the man. Read.
And to the woman were given 2 wings of a great eagle, that she might fly into the wilderness, into her place, where she is nourished for a time and times and a half a time, from the face of the serpent.
From the what?
From the face of the serpent.
From the face of the serpent. Folks, you can't make this up. You cannot make this up. The ideology. The face of the serpent. Scarlet and purple. And then I showed this before years ago. I mean, not too long ago. The auditorium for the Catholic Church. That we were running from the face of the serpent. They're not even hiding this anymore. The auditorium room at the Vatican, where one of Satan's seats are at, is shaped like what? It's shaped, they designed it to look like a serpent. And then behind it, they got like some type of example of the tree of good and evil into hell in the midst of it between its fangs. They're not even hiding it no more. From the face of the serpent. Soon after he became a pope, Paul VI ordered the building of a new architectural structure. The Paul VI Audience Hall of Nervi Hall, pictured above, to host the papal general audiences, commissioned in 1963 and inaugurated in 1971. Was designed by Italian architect Pierluigi Nervi. So it would be this serpent led by the Roman Catholic Church that would push the ideology of the harlot, the woman, in an effort to destroy the saints who are left in the end days to defy them. Right? Now let's show you some of the wiles of, since the woman isn't physical, let's show some of her weapons real quick. Right? And of course, just like there's a remnant of men that are chosen amongst the saints to finish this, there is also a remnant of women. And I have to put that out there because why? Think about it, folks. When someone speaks about men in particular, I don't take it personal. If I know that that man and what that man is doing doesn't apply to who I am, it has no weight. It have no weight at all. See, but that lets you know, that show you how, this in of itself shows us, brothers and sisters, how powerful the spirit of the woman is. And I'm speaking of that spirit of the queen mother of heaven and all of that. If you speak about a woman and a woman has nothing to do with what that woman is going through, you'll still have a woman who's contrary to that nature who'll still feel as if she's being attacked. That's how strong the hive mind is. That's how strong it is, that even if what? That woman isn't like me, or a woman say that this woman isn't like me and I have nothing to do with her. If something negative is showed forth about that woman, you would have a woman who's contrary, a virtuous woman, who'll still feel like she's getting attacked. That's how strong that spirit is. I don't care what people say about men, okay, out there that has no relationship to me, when it ain't me, right? That's his business. But that's how strong that spirit is. And guess what? And a lot of it isn't women's fault. They are raised to think like that. That if one is getting attacked, we're all being attacked. They're raised to think like that. When really, those sentiments should be towards her family. Those sentiments should be towards those she knows. And or the helpmeet she would become for that man. All of that should be for the protection of her family. Not for some people who's undermining her virtue. Right? Let's read it real quick. I'm going into the book of Reuben to show some of the wiles that's used through the spirit of woman that they can utilize, right? Let's read it real quick.
I'm going to go to chapter 5.
Chapter 5. Right here. Of course, it's not talking about all women. It's talking about evil women here, according to the book, the 12 patriarchs. Reuben left a testimony. All of the 12 sons of the 12 patriarchs of Israel left a testimony. Okay, so it's not talking about evil, all women. It's talking about evil women, which is the spirit of the harlot. The spirit that they would carry on many waters, right? Now you can look at our society and just examine what's accepted amongst our people. Okay, I'm still waiting for, look at the examples they're putting out there for our daughters to follow. I'm talking about in the mainstream. That's intentional. And it all leads to what? The total annihilation of men, folks. But I digress. 5, let's read that.
For evil are women, my children, since they have no power or strength over man.
Since they have no physical power, they can't subdue a man physically. Read.
They use wiles by outward attraction.
So their power is how they look. And again, men are attracted to attractive women. That in of itself isn't a bad thing. This is how children are born, right? You have to be attracted to the person. But it's talking about how the intentions this woman have with her attraction. It's calculating how she's using her attractiveness. Right? They use the wiles of their outward attractions. So it's what they're doing with their beauty. How they're calculating with it is what makes it evil. Because being attraction, men want attractive women. So being attractive in of itself isn't evil. It's what you're doing with it. Right? Read.
If I can mention this real quick. When we read this, obviously this can be applied on a personal level. But we're showing this on a greater level, showing the expose of the woman that sitteth upon many waters and the spirit over that empire, which is Esau, the cunning hunter. We're showing you the spirit of cunning.
Exactly. Bringing it all around full circle. The cunning hunter. He can't attack you personally, but he can use the evil woman to do so. Same outcome. You end up locked up in jail trying to defend your manhood, or you're 6 feet under the ground. You're still done away with without Esau, the cunning hunter, lifting a hand. That's cold. Thank you, Elder.
Yes, sir.
Read.
Verse 2. Whom they cannot bewitch by outward attractions, they overcome him by craft.
They overcome him by craft. Witchcraft. See? Going into the Orishas, or just outright joining a covenant, becoming a witch. See? Joining the occult. Read.
For whoever concerning them the angel of the Lord told me and taught me that women are overcome by the spirit of fornication more than men.
Women are overcome by the spirit of relations more than men. They try to flip that in our society and lie. No, it's women who are more passionate when it comes to the relations and desires it more. It's women. Outright. Outright. And it's not just talking about, I did the numbers. There's a lot of lies out there and projection out there. That download stuff, no. There's more women who deal with bisexuality and all of that compared to men. It's always been that way. Always. The numbers, not only that, there's numbers on this to prove this. There's data. And I'm talking about it's not even close. It's not even close. The bisexual, lesbianism, and all of that, that download stuff they saying about men is really a projection. Okay? It's another attack on straight men to have people speculate whether or not a straight man is that way. When no, there's no such thing as a bisexual man or a download man. He's gay. Okay? He's gay. All right? And that woman are overcome by the spirit of fornication more than men. Read.
For moreover,
It says in their heart.
Yes, sir. In their heart they plot against men.
In their heart they plot. They will plot against men. Okay, they'll plot. Something ain't going right, even if people aren't together anymore. But like, okay, I'm mad, so hey, I'm taking him to the hunter to see what else I can extract from him. He's with who? Well, I'm going to make sure I take everything from him, even though he's taking care of things. All she have to do is get mad, and she goes straight to the hunter, and the hunter be like, yeah, I give you the full authority to do whatever you would like. Well, suppose I'm lying. It doesn't matter. There's no consequence for you lying. There's no consequence. You can just go ahead and find somebody else until you hit a target. Okay? And by what?
And by means of their adornment,
the outside appearance, the adornment, what they put on,
they deceive first their minds, and by the glance of the eye instill the poison.
They deceive first their minds, the man's mind, and by the glance of the eye they instill the poison. They'll walk, And next thing you know, she's looking at you and you catch your eyes. Boom. And instill the poison. And then
by the glance of the eye, instill the poison, and then through the accomplished act, they take them captive.
And through the accomplished act, they take them captive. Read, for a woman cannot force a man.
For a woman cannot force a man openly, but by a harlot's bearing she beguiles him.
By a harlot's bearing she beguiles them. Mother of harlots. Where you would have a complete system that pumps out women, that pumps out girls, in direct result of the spirit they have actually cast throughout the earth. They would pump out the women that mimics the harlot who sits on many waters, the demoness. And cannot force a man openly, but by a harlot's bearing, she tricks him, beguiles him. Read.
Flee therefore fornication, my children, and command your wives and your daughters.
Command your wives and your daughters, read.
That they adorn not their heads and faces to deceive the mind.
Remind the girls not to put on things that will now deceive the mind of men. Remind them not to do this. Command your daughters and your wives, because guess what? Why it say does do that? Because women have power. And their power can either help me and build, or it can derail a whole entire plan men had for life. It can derail your entire life in a different direction outside of what you originally thought your life would be. Just with the outward appearance, it can derail the future. It just can. That's why he says this is the power of a woman that's attractive. Because every woman, read,
who useth these wiles have been reserved for eternal punishment.
Because the women who use that and aren't dealing with the spirit of virtue and righteousness have already been reserved for hell. See? For thus, read.
For thus they allured the watchers.
They allured the watchers.
Who were before the flood.
Who were before the flood. So this is why the angels came down, folks. In the city of Cain. These women were dealing with sexual ritualistic dancing and all of that. I'm going to go into that in the academy. A lot of these parties you see in Hollywood and all of this, folks, that started before the flood. To open up what? A window between this world and that world. And when the angels came down, it was party time. For thus they allured the watchers who were before the flood. Folks, what we're seeing today in our communities is exactly what happened before the Most High flooded the earth, before he had to intervene. Where you're living in a society where we have lost the majority, or if not all, of our daughters. That was the plan to destroy the saints. That was the actual future plan with the spirit, concerning the spirit of the harlot. Knowing that they can't just outright come against us with an army like they did in 70 AD. For thus they allured the watchers who were before the flood, read.
For as these continually beheld them, they lusted after them, and they conceived the act in their mind.
They started talking amongst each other. Azazel, Simjaza. Simjaza like, man, I'm going down there. Right? There's a party. And they were like, man, we ain't dealing with all this, man. Listen, no. And he says, listen, but hey, I'll tell you what. If we all agree to do it together, if we all going to go down together and we agree together in mutual implication, then, hey, okay. So it wasn't a thing where they just went down initially. The conversation is in the book of Enoch where one thought about it first, and then they all started thinking about it. And then they said, okay, let's agree to do it together then. 200 of them came down. For as these continually beheld them, as they seen the women, they lusted after them, because the women were running around with no clothes on in the city of Cain. And they conceived the act in their mind. They already had it figured out what they wanted to do with the women. For read.
For they changed themselves into the shape of men and appeared to them when they were with their husbands.
And appeared to them when they were with their husbands. They came, folks, in the shape of men. That's where they get the concept shapeshifters from. These are angels that happened before the flood. Read. This is Testament of Reuben I'm reading. Read.
Mm-hmm. And this explains as well how angels are able to cohabit with flesh, with women. A lot of people say they're angels. They can't do that.
Exactly.
Well, they came as men.
That's a lie to claim that angels can't sleep with women. All of the secret gods the Catholic Church worships come from this type of setting. Gods dealing with women. Bringing forth what? Nephilim or hybrid beings. All the gods they worship in mythology connects directly to this. So they'll lie in the Christian church. Hey, no angels can come down and angels can't have babies. And the women
lusting in their minds after their forms, gave birth to giants, for the watchers appeared to them as reaching unto heaven.
As reaching unto heaven. Okay, so that's from the pseudepigrapha testimonies of who? The 12 patriarchs. They left testimonies too. So the spirit of the harlot, folks, permeate throughout all of our communities. And it first started with the authority given to women within the Catholic Church. That was their end game. And folks, let me tell you right now, the COVID-19 shutdown, rollout, all of that, folks, was what? That was the testing ground. That was the beta test for what they will eventually roll out. And guess what? The same way women pressured their families to do this, the next time things happen and the mark of the beast come on the scene, the women are going to be even what? They're going to be even more fervent in spirit concerning pushing the mark of the beast. They had to, I'm going to tell you, they had to have this in place spiritually for the end game against Jacob. Everything we're reading, John was shown on the Isle of Patmos. Revelations 13, the spirit of the woman. But what we didn't realize, that the spirit of the women would be in control. What do you mean by that? Yeah, because the spirit of the woman would actually possess the women and the men. And when it all goes down, that spirit of weakness, oh my God, how am I going to eat? How am I going to drink? What's going to happen to my house if I don't do this? What's going to happen to my work? Women are going to stand up and all these political positions and say, listen, I'm not getting put out of my house over this. Either everybody in this house get it or get out, because I'm not going to lose everything I worked for. And what, that's right, that means what? She worked on sustaining Babylon. Her existence is one and the same with Babylon. And when it rolls out again, it's going to be the spirit of the woman utilized with technology throughout the whole earth when the mark of the beast come on the scene. And the women will have all of the authority at the very end of this, all of it. And guess what? A lot of men, like they did, just to keep the peace, went and took that stuff, gave it to their children, and all of that. Well, guess what? Imagine that on steroids. And guess what? Hey, we're here. It's about to go down. The spirit of the harlot has taken root. And the end game is to destroy all of the saints that's left and are living within the earth. How will they identify the saints? Well, these will be the people who decided not to do it. Hence the reason, why do you think they got everybody adjusted to my chart, where everyone has a my chart? Obama put that in place. It's not to check on your medical and all of that. It's just so now that your government, all of your medical and who you are has been placed in a database. So now they'll know right out who took it and who refused it. And those who refuse it is going to be put in one database. And that's when what? That's when it's game on. Only the righteous will survive. That's right. The attack from the harlot. And folks, this is why you're here. Gathering of Christ Church. We were born for this moment. We were born for this moment. All the prophecies concerning what's happening in the earth, to be able to quantify them geopolitically and put it into perspective on how to live through what's happening. Folks, through the Spirit of the Almighty, I thank the Most High for a platform to convey what the Most High have given us through the Holy Spirit. Stay here. Stay rooted in. And above all, pray in the name of Ahia, Bahashem, Yeshaya, Warewak. That concludes our lesson. All of the support that you have given us, I cannot thank you enough, brothers and sisters, for all you do to support the work. We thank you from the bottom of our hearts, the continued support that you have given us through the ups and downs and everything we've gone through since the beginning of this ministry. Without your prayers and all of that, I don't know where we would be. Okay? I'm going to tell you right that your continued support, we love you. And guess what? When it comes to this battle, we'll be on the front line before you. We will stand on the front line. Okay? And I can't wait to that front line next week. The baptism. South Carolina. All right? So, brothers and sisters, I'm going to see you all there. Support the work. Hebrew and Bible Academy. Sign up as soon as possible. historytimes.org. We have a new app, a new platform. Come test it out with us and tell us what you think. All right? Again, may the Most High be with you. Stay prayed up. Sin not. We will soon see Israel. And do not fall for the tricks from the what? The cunning hunter. Do not be utilized by the enemy to take one another out. We need each other. Shalom.
Shalom.
The Arabs and African told us historytimes.org. Week 12 tomorrow. Last class.
The East is where we're from. The 12 tribes of Israel. In 721 BC, the Assyrian king, he took us down, we fell. With a great escape we went through the Euphrates. The Lord held the water still. To a land where no mankind dwelt, we went. The 12 tribes of Israel. That's who we be. Manasseh, the Cubans, Ephraim from Puerto Rico, and Valley from the Isles of Hawaii. The Lord is calling back Israel. Babylon from Panama, the North American Indians, Simeon, the Dominicans, our highest gathering Israel. The Arabs and Africans told us at gunpoint. Together our wives and children then sold us. In the belly of these great ships we traveled in fear. By the rivers of Babylon we found our brothers here. Together us in Colombia, Reuben from Australia, Issachar, the Mexicans, our highest gathering Israel, Judah, the Negroes, Benjamin, the West Indians, Levi, the Haitians, our highest gathering Israel. Asher in Colombia, Reuben from Australia, Issachar, the Mexicans. That's who we be. Judah, the Negroes, Benjamin, the West Indians.
Blessings. Join the Hebrew and Bible Academy.
Manasseh, the Cubans, Ephraim from Puerto Rico, and Valley from the Isles of Hawaii. The Lord is calling back Israel. From Panama, the North American Indians,
Simeon,
the Dominicans,
our highest gathering Israel. Oh yeah. Someone asked, I had to take my Mitri off. Someone asked, well, when is the next Hebrew and Bible Academy? The date. As you can see here, July 5th. July 5th is the next Hebrew and Bible Academy. July 5. Shalom. July 5th. Have a blessed day, and I'll see you tomorrow for week 12 of the Hebrew and Bible Academy, where we will show the similarities between who? Noah, Moses, and Christ. Shalom.